Welcome everybody to Understanding Web with IsNowGlobal. This week we're doing something different this week. I'm not really doing anything that is inherently like, oh, I got a plan for you. I have a few questions that I've picked out of my client pool, like 3 of them, and I'm leaving space for 2 more questions to be answered by, hopefully somebody. So if you have, today is just a informal, I have questions, I need answers. So please hop in here. I'm so sorry if you hear that. I think I might have muted. Yeah, I did. You guys didn't even hear that. So for everybody who's here, I'm trying to pull up the stream so I can hear you. There we go. I can now head here. Okay, now I can see everything. All right, let's get started here. Let's pull this chat over here. Perfect. Oh, we got 4 people in here. Hey, if you're in here, say hello. I'd love to see who's all in here. Let's go ahead and get started here. So actually, I will head over to studio mode. Okay. So for those who are here, this is Understanding Web with IsNowGlobal. We usually do this weekly. It's a weekly breakdown of web and tech. And hopefully, if you're here, please hope you came with questions. Hope you came with things you want to get answered. That's what I'm here for. So let's go ahead and transition into the intro. So we are IsNowGlobal. We're a web design, web development, and web hosting firm. We are here to build your vision. Basically, everything we're here to do is wherever you can find great web design, you can just go to our website at isnowglobal.com. Something else you can do over there is book a consult. Start with a meeting. We start a plan to build that vision, and then we get to work executing that vision, and then we launch your vision. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. So today I'm actually on camera, hey everybody. I'm IsNowGlobal with Chuck. So I know a few of you haven't seen me yet. Happy birthday to Tara, and please, while you're here, go to forgestackersonly.com and pick up your shirts. Go to the Stack Store. Please go wish the nice, amazing Tara happy birthday. She deserves it. It's also my amazing niece's first birthday, so this stream is dedicated in part, and basically all, to my amazing niece, Olivia. So let's get started here today. I'm gonna switch back from studio mode because I can't control it. There we go. Let's see. There we go. So first, answer your most pressing web questions. Let's make the web a little less scary today. So realistically, why I'm doing this is I've been seeing a lot of people have a lot of questions online about, what is this tool? Should I use this tool? How do I use it? How best to go about finding this tool? Do I pay for this tool? Do I have to waste my money on it? And I'm really here just to answer whatever I can when it comes to that. So I only have 3 questions. This is gonna be a very, very short stream or a very long one based on the questions I seem to get from you all. So again, if you're in the chat, please say hello. Let me know what your questions are. If you have any web questions, there's no dumb questions here. There are no bad questions here. Just answers. So please let me know if you have any questions in the chat. If not, just say hello. It's always good to say hello too. So the first question, I'll give you a little bit of time for you guys to get a few questions out there while I pull up the other chat rooms here. And just pull them off to the side. There we go. Okay, so give it about, let's 2 to 3 seconds here. Okay, well, that's good enough. So first question I'm gonna answer for you all is, should I have tracking on my website? This one's a pretty easy one to answer, and the answer is absolutely. You should have tracking on your website before you even launch, before you even have a chance to like tweet the website out, before you tweet any link out. You should have tracking on your site. Um, it may seem like it's not necessary, it may not be that important. But just know that having tracking on your website is extremely important. It can be the difference between like you. It can be. I didn't finish that sentence off. So to finish that sentence off, it can be the difference between you having the ability to buy all of your, or having your customers buy multiple of your items versus buying just one of your items. Because you'll know when they abandon the cart, you'll know what items they put in the cart, you'll know whether or not they actually were spending the money that they said they were spending. It's just good to know what happens between the process of them buying the item and going to your cart. And so there's actually a very big threshold there you need to cross. And any sort of issue that comes along with that can like put a hindrance on whether you convert that sale. Um, I wish I had finished this question, but the realistic answer I'm trying to make here is that when you have tracking on your website, it's like a second coach to, it's like basically a coach. It tells you indirectly like, oh, this thing you're doing here is working. It's only working to a certain amount, working to a certain place. Or this thing I'm doing right here, I should stop doing immediately because it's completely balancing all my things. And I know I'm gonna throw a lot of terms at you here that I may not have time to explain. But I have other videos that you can go check out. If you're watching this replay on YouTube, probably right here, well, you see something pop up that shows what our current video about analytics is. But we have a lot of great videos over our YouTube.isnowglobal.com where you go check that out. Where we already broke down analytics to a pretty good perspective, and this is just me answering the questions, not necessarily breaking down each individual topic. But yes, you should be using tracking, like things like bounces, bounce rates, conversions, abandoned carts. All of these things can be tracked and be mitigated. You don't have to live with abandoned carts. You don't have to spend all this money retargeting your ads and all that. If you have tracking, it basically solves that issue for you. And realistically, I would say you should look into Facebook Pixel, Google Analytics, and any third-party self-hosted things you can. But we'll come back to this one. I just getting tired of not seeing this sentence be completed. So we'll go on to the second question. Should I buy more than one domain? It depends. I would always implore you to buy more than one domain. You should never really own one domain. If you have an entity or you have some sort of company or some sort of item that does multiple things in multiple divisions, you 100% need to have multiple domains. Like you can have one for your store, you can have one for your new book that you're launching. I know if you know B's, capital SB on Twitter, she has a specific domain for her book and another domain that she uses for her actual consulting and things of that nature. And it's very, the way that works, I can't see the data because I'm not on the back end, but what I can tell, she converts pretty well with having a separate domain for her book and having another domain for her website. So like it could be the difference. It can be like the big difference between you having to basically like pay thousands of dollars for your domain or pay $12 for your domain. So let's talk about this. Actually, I'm gonna dwell here for a little bit if you guys don't mind. I'm gonna break down each individual thing. So when I say if you have an entity that serves multiple purposes, yes, buy multiple domains. What I mean by that is if you have if you say, for example, you sell candles, your main product is candles, but let's say you're branching out into candle making consultations or anything of that nature, you would want to buy a domain. You could still use the same domain. You can use a subdomain, and if you go watch our video about domains, you can clearly see that there's easy ways for you to manage and use one domain to handle a bunch of different traffic. Um, so absolutely. So if you do have an entity that serves multiple places, buy your domain. If you just have a regular domain, a regular website, you only do one thing. At the minimum, and I mean this for everyone watching this, go out and buy your domain in .com, .org, and .net. If you have those three, for the most part, you should be okay. No one's gonna be trying to sell you a .club. Not that you really need it. I mean, if you're a big person, you have a big club following, maybe you want to buy a .club. You don't have to. Um, but at the bare minimum, if you're gonna buy a domain, you should buy your domain in .com, .org, and .net, because you would own let's say like 60% or 70% of traffic on the internet to your domain. You don't want to leave a percentage of your domain traffic on the table by like, oh, I don't need the .com, oh, I don't need the .org, oh, I don't need the .net. You do. And if you're one of the people who has a domain that's very popular and you're sort of sharing it, kind of like you have a .io but you don't have the .com, maybe look into another domain where you can buy the .com that incorporates your current name. Like your domain name is only as powerful as your brand. So if your brand grows, your domain will grow with that. You don't have to go out and buy Google.com with 4 O's to start a website. I think someone did that. We'll get to that in our news stories later. But yes, if you have if you have a entity that serves more than one purpose, you should definitely have multiple domains. If not, buy .com, buy .org, buy .net. Easy to realize. Third question: should I use a password manager? I put this one in here. This was not a question. Oh my god, my spelling errors are terrible. Yes, you should 100% be using a password manager. Like if you run a business, you will have at minimum at least 6 or 7 passwords, and none of those passwords should be the same. None of your passwords should be the same. I'm gonna keep repeating that because it's very, very important. None of your passwords should be the same. Go out, pay for a password manager so that you can have a safe and secure infrastructure. The easiest way to lose your infrastructure is to not have a password manager and to be using the same password everywhere. We've seen on the timeline, you've all seen it, how someone having the same passwords can almost destroy their entire social media following, their entire brand, they even almost lost like actual physical assets. So yes, go out and buy or like they're not even expensive. Some of them are free. There's some really good free ones out there. I think Bitwarden is technically free if you self-host it. I use LastPass. I don't even know if I still pay for the premium. They're just a really cool people. They don't have to. But I have multiple password managers for multiple different things, and none of them share the same password. None of them share the same max password. None of them share anything. So yes, if you have anything you have a question with, definitely. If you have anything you have passwords for, get a password manager and secure it. Very simple, very easy way to stay on top of things is to get a password manager. So those are my 3 questions. If you're still in here, I might even cut this short to 3 o'clock. I'm definitely probably not going past 3. But if you have any questions for me, this is the time to drop them in the chat. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. There you go. So yes, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Please do, because it helps me a lot. This is supposed to be for you all. I'm trying to make sure that you all have really every question you need answered. So let's see here. Okay, well, if there's no questions, I am gonna cut this short. Today is also my niece's birthday, so I'm gonna cut this short and go whop on her Zoom birthday party. But other than that, if you have any questions, please let me know. I guess to kind of keep going on this, I'm gonna leave this up for about 3 minutes here. I'm gonna just anecdotally talk about certain things while this is up. So I guess a couple questions that I've gotten in the past is, should I use WordPress.com or WordPress.org? Specifically about that issue. So I'll break that down. WordPress.org, WordPress as a whole shouldn't cost you anything. You're realistically only paying for the resources required to host that WordPress. And maybe you're paying for some plugins, maybe you're paying for some design, maybe you're paying for some like analytics, little things like that. But at the core, if you just want WordPress and nothing else, it shouldn't cost you anything. Because WordPress is open source. It's an open source technologies. We at IsNowGlobal use a bunch of open source technologies to make sure that we have the most secure and scalable things for our clients. But when it comes to WordPress.com, WordPress.org, actually, before I say this, I should probably figure out which one's which because I haven't really used either or. I have my own WordPress that I build from the ground up, and I use that. I deploy that, so it's kind of custom. Um, so let me see here. All right, there we go. So, so WordPress.org is yep. So WordPress.org is the open source version, and WordPress.com is where you pay. So WordPress.org is where you get documentations about WordPress, where you can learn about like the WordPress codex, the PHP. All there is a thousand sidebar. There's over a couple thousand modules, PHP modules that are built specifically for WordPress that are just kind of abstracted PHP commands. So if you're thinking about learning WordPress development and you're like, oh, I don't know PHP, just know that WordPress has abstracted a lot of that for you, and you only need to know like control flow, maybe some logic here, a little bit of logic here and there. You should be good to go. But WordPress, so here's the breakdown. If you are a creator that has, let's say, like more than 6,000 followers, and this is a pretty like blanket statement, you should not be using WordPress.com. If you have more than if you convert more than a couple thousand clicks per post on a link you put out, and you can with Twitter's analytics you can check that. You should not be using WordPress.com. Go get a self-hosted managed WordPress. If you have a pretty big following, you should have a WordPress that is managed and scaled for you. Because having to scale WordPress is not fun, especially when you are the creator and you are the seller. It can be the difference between you being able to take like 10 more sales on or spend your entire day trying to like going through form answers and then possibly breaking your site, because that's a definite thing you can do when you're scaling up is breaking the site. And if you're not prepared for what happens when the site breaks, you don't have backups, you don't have hot loads, you don't have low balance things, that can be like a very, very traumatic experience. So definitely, if you have a pretty big following, do indeed make sure that you have that you're using. If not using Word, you should need WordPress.org is not even a place you can go. You just go download WordPress from there and you upload it to your server. So if you have a couple thousand, you should have your own server. Your server should be secure. You should have SSL. If not, if you're on YouTube, video just popped up over here for you to watch a video on how to secure your website with SSL. There's so many things you need to do, and maybe that's the next video I'll do is I'll make a list of the things you should have before you launch. We've done plugins, so let's go ahead and start doing like operational stuff. So like what that means is there's a few operational things you should be doing or have when it comes to WordPress. Even not even WordPress, I would say any site. SSL is one of them. SEO is one of them. Meta descriptions is one of them. Social media linking is done, and that's not just like putting your social media on the website. That is going into the options on that social media and having them claiming your website as you, the social media handler, and then that will allow you to actually have meta tags and things like that. So here's another question. Here's a question that I get answered. How do I fix the Twitter card issue where you post a link to your Twitter and it doesn't grab your picture, your logo, maybe the link doesn't even show up correctly. Maybe you don't even get a Twitter card. Like that's also a thing. Those are all symptoms of not having proper meta tags or not having proper meta descriptions or not even specifically not even having proper setup or pre-configured settings. Because if you launch your site without doing the social media, I mean, maybe like 10 years ago, that would have been like, yeah, you can get away with this. But now, like, it's impossible for you to not post your link on social media. And if you don't, someone will. And if your link does not look appealing to people on the internet while it's live or while it's there, no one's going to click on it. You won't get the conversions. Your site's sitting there wondering what's going on. Um, I also don't realize I'm wearing these like insane headphones. I wear these every day, so I never noticed. But that's kind of funny to look at myself in the picture. Um, but that's another quick question: is should I be using WordPress.com or WordPress.org, or should I be doing this or that? Trying to think, is anything else I want to make sure I cover today before I hop off here. Got about 7 minutes. So let's think. Like I said, if you have any questions, this would be a great time to answer those questions. Um, yeah, I'm not seeing very many questions, which is okay. Um, Again, just wishing happy birthday to my great, amazing niece, Olivia. Let's see. Something I didn't do is I didn't check the other stream because there's two streams. There's the IsNowGlobal stream, and then there's the it is not global, and then there's the actual is not global Chuck. There's both of us, and I mean we're the same account technically, but we'll see here. So let's hop in this one. Yeah. So right now I'm just trying to pull up the other chat so that I can see if there's any. Okay, that was not smart. No, but it looks like we're good. Other than that, I guess if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at is non global Chuck. If not, not a big issue. If you do need help with a lot of these questions, if you have a question that you probably can't ask on here because there are some of those like that, reach out to me on Twitter at isnonglobalchuck. Reach out to me at isnongglobal. Send us an email at yourfuture@isnongglobal.com. Just make sure you engage with us because that's our way of kind of making sure that we're giving out the most best content we can. Hmm. So I'm thinking now. I'm looking at it, and I don't think I have any more questions. But other than that, if you have any questions left, again, reach out to me. Other than that, I think I'm gonna skip forward to the thank you for watching. So yeah, short stream today, little 22-minute stream. We're trying still very long for like YouTube purposes, but hopefully that was pretty helpful to you guys. This is my first time on camera. I'm probably gonna do a little bit more of this later. Um, we got a bunch of really cool content coming soon. This green screen that's behind me, because this is a green screen, is going to be used heavily over the next couple of months. So yeah, reach out at isnongglobal.chuck, isnongglobal.com. Go check out our go check out our links page, isnongglobal.com/links or links.isnongglobal.com. And we have great goodies in there for y'all. Hopefully y'all can go in there and get some stuff. But other than that, I really hope you enjoyed the stream. And you know what? I always save these for the end now because I'm not sure about the royalties aspect of it. But here's a huge applause for everybody who stayed so far. A respectable applause, obviously. But other than that, I'm thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all learning with me this weekend. Uh, Short stream, wasn't really trying to do very much today, but I just wanted to get on camera and say hello to you guys, make sure you're good. Um, Again, happy birthday to the Stacker princess out there. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now.